The people that win the most are the people that are not afraid of turning up as their authentic selves, like fully themselves. Okay, I've got my PC here, I've got a few notes. Look at this donut case, it's so cute. Okay, so I think just like many other people who's lived through life, I'm just gonna share a bit of my personal experience and also just how I'm going with this journey into just learning how to like fully accept myself and to fully be myself, because I feel like like if you can be fully yourself and just accept yourself for who you are, then there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you from doing whatever it is you want to do. If it's, I don't know, climbing a mountain, collecting the most amount of sea glass, I don't know, whatever it is, like whatever it is that like you feel like that's within you and that you want to do, but you know there's other things in your mind, or you have like all of these mental constraints that keep holding you back. I feel like the moment that you can fully accept yourself, and I'm still on that journey, is when you're just like win. And winning doesn't necessarily have to be I think a lot of times, or just modern day, we really associate winning with like having lots of money and I don't know, having a private jet or whatever. But I don't think that's winning. I think winning is when you are at a place where you are happy and content, and like what you have, what you are, everything, you're just happy and content with that. I think that's what winning is. That's just what I think winning is. Of course, I wouldn't mind having the largest piece of labradorite, but you know, we can't all have everything. I guess like everybody else that did school and whatever, you go through life and you get bullied, right? And I think what comes with being bullied is that because most of the time, I mean, people will bully you for ridiculous things. People will bully you, oh, you have blue nails, okay? Or I don't know, just ridiculous things. Oh, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too this, you're too that, right? So I think because of that experience, because of being bullied, then later on you get to a place where you're asking yourselves what ifs, like I think that's something that I struggle with so much. I'm like, I could do this, if I would be able to do this if I was this. I'm like, if I was taller, I would be able to do this. If I looked like this, I would be able to do this and achieve this. If I did this, if, and I just keep asking myself and I keep saying like all of these ifs, and I feel like it drags me down so much, because then I get to a place whereby I want to be everything else but myself. I think nobody can be the best version of being you than you. Beyonce is an amazing musician, an amazing artist, an amazing performer, She has her own style, her own very authentic style that's like unique to her. And no matter how much anybody tries, nobody can be Beyonce. Nobody can be better at being Beyonce than Beyonce herself. Same with Taylor Swift. Nobody can be better at being Taylor Swift as Taylor Swift. Same as you. Nobody can be the best at being you than you. You are the only person who can be the best at being you, so you need to be able to allow yourself to be the best at being you for whatever that is. The constant bullying, the kids just saying cruel things, and hearing that constantly, it makes you question a little bit about who you are, and what matters to you, or if you're enough. You also ask yourself those questions. You ask yourself, am I enough? And it's because you keep hearing it over and over and over again. And so because you're hearing it from the outside, you then want to do whatever it is so that you don't have to hear that anymore, right? So because we're human beings and our instinct is just to survive, so you end up perhaps if people, bullied you for the way that you dress, then you end up, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy X, Y, and Z clothes, and then I can dress like these people and look like these people, and then they can no longer bully me for the way that I dress, because then you're conforming to what it is that those people want. And I think the problem with that is that, yes, you can conform and they'll stop, but even if they conform and they stop and you had to change yourself and you can wear this shell or whatever it is that people want you to be, you then end up being in a place or in a situation where you're just wearing this shell, you're wearing this covering, but then deep inside you're feeling very disturbed, because that's not who you are, that's not what you represent. And I think, society, we just conform in general because we want to survive. Nobody wants to not survive, so you just do things to survive. So it took me a while to, and I'm still struggling with that journey. Actually, yesterday I was like, I don't know what I am, what's my purpose. I was feeling like really beaten down. I don't even know what that upon, but like I don't even know where that stemmed from, but it's just like it was in my mind, and it was just really beating me down. Really need to take a lot of time of self-reflection. Like you need to like mentally take time, mentally take space of self-reflection, and to think that the things that people say to you, those things are not you. If somebody says you're a duck, they can call you duck, ducky, duck, 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 but if you're not a duck, them calling you a duck 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, doesn't make you any more of a duck. Okay, I know that's a terrible example, but if you just really think about what it is that people say to you or say about you, that what they say doesn't define you. So you need to really take time just to sit and to reflect and be like, the things that they said, the things that these people said, does that mean it's true? Does that make it true? And if you then start behaving like a duck, you're still not a duck. You're a human being, you're still not a duck. And I think it takes a lot to be able to break apart from the things, the horrible traumas that we went through, the horrible traumas that you'd like to break apart, like to separate ourselves from the things that people say. I think it's not very easy, especially if you hear it constantly. But I think the problem with not facing those traumas is that, for example, I think like for me personally, like one of my biggest fears is that I become a bully, because the thing is, if you don't heal from a set situation or set traumatic experience, then the likelihood of that experience coming up and blowing up later on is so high. It's so high. And sometimes it can come out in different ways. You're not necessarily going to be like bully your children, but you could bully your partner, you could bully your co-workers, you could bully your neighbors. Like that situation that happened to you, if you don't take time to heal from that situation, there's a high chance you're going to become the thing that you despised the most. And I think that's very scary. So you really need to take time to address, okay, they said I look like this, am I this? They said I think like this, am I this? No, I'm not this. You really need to take time to separate yourselves from what it is that society or people said that you are, or the things that they did to you. You need to really take time to separate. And I'm not a therapist, but I just feel like the more that I just try and counter like the battles that I'm like, okay, I think of myself as this. Why do I think of myself as this? Where did that thought come from? Where did that idea come from? Okay, I heard somebody say this, but does that make it true? Just like really taking time. Okay, I'm like, they said this and they think of this, so maybe they could be right, because of course those are the thoughts that go into your head. So it's really just taking time to like fight that and to just like block out that sort of energy. Okay, so I think one of the ways that you can take this, because I think different people have like different ways in which that they can like self-heal. There's people who, for example, if you like painting, you can take up a hobby that doesn't stress you. You can maybe paint, or you could even journal, write down your thoughts. You could do a spa day. You could even, if it could just be at home, just doing something that's like not necessarily a creative outlet, but it could be a creative outlet if that's what makes like calms you. But just doing something that calms you, something that like genuinely brings you joy, just showing yourself so much love and so much compassion, because I feel like most of the times we're so hard on ourselves. I think our biggest enemies it's just ourselves. The moment like, because it's not all the time that we have negative energy from the outside. Sometimes we could have very positive energy from the outside. We could have, everybody could be cheering you on, everybody could be telling you that you're the best, you can do it, you can make it. But if you don't believe that you can, no matter how much positive impact that you have from the outside, it's so difficult to believe it. So you really have to, like, I think the greatest person that you have to fight is yourself. The greatest person that you have to overcome is yourself. And the greatest way is by, I think, just showing yourself so much compassion, showing yourself so much love. There's days that you don't feel like it, or you're not in the mood for it, and you don't necessarily have to beat yourself down for not feeling like it, or wanting to do it, because you're human. So for the moments whereby you feel like you haven't done your very best, because there are times that we do things and you think, oh, if only I had done my very best, if only I had given myself 100%. You should forgive yourself. If you're willing to forgive others, if somebody accidentally steps on your foot or your shoe, depending on what kind of shoes they are. If they're Jordans, you start a fight. But if they're Louis Vuittons, you're like, yeah, that's fine. Okay, you also start a fight. But if somebody steps on your shoe, you're like, and they say sorry, you're like, oh, okay, no problem, it was a mistake, and it moves on. But I feel like if you sort of somehow damaged your own shoe, you just beat yourself up so much about it, right? So you should give yourself the leeway and give yourself the space to forgive yourself as well, because I think there's often times where we don't forgive ourselves, and then we're just like holding on to something, and there's just something just weighing us down so much. Well, one of the most important ways that you can discover yourself and also just be yourself and be self-accepting is by also just surrounding yourself with people, surrounding yourself with positive people, and just surrounding yourself with people in like a positive circle that have like good energy, and people that are just so like accepting, people that are accepting you for you, people that like you could be in a blue stitch onesie and your friends or whoever, they're not going to judge you for it. They'll be like, oh, this makes you happy, be happy. This, like, seeing the smile on somebody else's face for them doing something that genuinely brings them joy, I think is the best thing. So people that just accept you for being you and don't question it and don't bring you down for it, I think those are the sorts of people that you really have to try and like surround yourself with. I'm not saying cut everybody out, but I'm saying the people that are like in a close circle, make sure that it's people that are accepting you for who you are, and no one that drags you down, because that as well, because then if you still have voices that are close by and they're telling you, oh, why are you like this, why are you like that, and then it'll then make you like be in a shell again, and then you'll put on this veil that isn't you. So the journey of self-acceptance is like, it's like an ongoing, oh, my tea is getting cold. Sponsored by Teacups. I don't know who Teacups is, but Teacups. Sip sip makes you feel good. I still don't have any sponsorship, so I'm just practicing. This is the product of a sitcom. I am a sitcom love child. The journey of self-acceptance is ongoing, but I now understand the importance of embracing our unique stories, including the struggles we faced. They shape us and they make us who we are. So if you are able to like heal from your past traumatic experiences, it's great, because then it gives you the space and the leeway to be able to help somebody else and to empathize with somebody else. Something that is important to remember, and I think this is something that like yesterday I was struggling with so much. I was like, I've listened to the TED Talks. I've read the inspirational quotes. I've done all of that. It's like, I've done all of that. I've read the inspo quotes. I've done it all. But I'm like, why do I still feel? It's like, why is it that there's people that will read all the quotes and listen to the TED Talks and do the meditation and everything, and suddenly they're perfect. And I'm like, why can't I have that for myself, And it's like, what's wrong with me? So I'm just here to tell you that even if, you do the work, and it's like a constant, I think it's like a ever-going journey, and I think it's not just like an instant fix. So even if when you're going through that journey of like self-love and self-acceptance and just like allowing yourself to be you need to remember that you're not alone. And if your journey is going, if your journey is like, if you're running or flying, that's amazing. If you're going slow and just taking it step by step, that's also amazing. It's not a race, and you're not alone, and there's other people that have, you know, similar experiences to you. And you know, just, I think finding people or just listening to people with like similar stories that I've been able to like hear from that, I think it's a great journey. But you know, thank you so much for allowing me to share my journey with you, and I hope it helps you as well. But thank you so much for watching. Bye.